Hi, folks. Welcome back to How to Handyma'am, the podcast where we're doing sidecasts, kind of, with this SideQuest episode, because we want to try to stay on track in our main episodes, but we have trouble. So
we have squirrels running around in our brains.
Mine squirrels are named Gerald and Gerald.
All right, so
I like it.
We want to take an opportunity to answer some more listener questions. So I'm just going to read these to you guys, and we'll see if we can give our listeners some answers that are helpful.
Stump the Handyma'ams.
All right, this is from Kate, and she wants to know, would shellac primer, which we talked about a couple episodes ago, would it also work on stains other than water stains? Could you use it like on the stains left by sticky window cling or by other things? Can you use shellac to cover those up?
Yes, with a caveat.
Yep.
That got to make sure there's no sticky texture left. So
yeah, it'll cover the residue. But if you have a bubble of adhesive left over, it's going to be hard to. It'll paint over that and probably cling to it, but it will not look like there is nothing there. You'll be able to see the texture of it.
I think the best practice would be to just, even if you think all the adhesive or whatever sticky bit is gone, just hit it with a little bit of sandpaper or a sanding block, or even a microfiber, and then you can prime it.
Yeah. I will say one thing we don't always realize is that, let's say, let's say you rub your hand over it and you can feel something, but you can't see it. If you just go ahead and paint over that, then you'll be able to also see it. Mm-hmm. So you do need to make sure, if you can't tell yet, just run your hand over it. If it's smooth, but you can still see it because it's a color, then you can use shellac primer, and that will cover that right up.
Yeah, and if you can't tell, then you can paint over it, and then you can always go back over the areas that are problematic still.
It's not super fun, but you can sand through just about anything.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So next one. This is a TikTok handle. So it's a handle rather than a name. And one of my absolute favorites. It's Oogity Oogity.
Oogity Oogity. What do you got for
us? It says, everything I've heard about shellac is related to cup rings on tables because it's wax. So I think this question is alluding to the fact that, me growing up, we had real wood furniture, and you would get murdered if you just put a drink glass on it, because then it would leave white rings. And those were surfaces we always referred to as shellacked.
Yeah.
So I think there's a term, shellacked, which we use to describe when something has a very hard clear coat on it. It's what you see on church pews and other kinds of high use wooden items. That's different than what we're referring to, which is shellac-based primer, which is a paint product as opposed to a, let's say, I don't know, polyurethane.
A finish.
A finish.
Varnish.
So there's something called amber shellac, which my lovely father grew up in the time where you put amber shellac on anything and it makes it beautiful. And it's kind of like yellowy golden soup. I don't know. I don't like it, but it was on everything. All hardwood furniture, and you're sanding it down if you're refinishing furniture all the time. That's probably, I'm assuming, what they're referring to, because if you put your glass on it, it will change the color of your amber shellac or your top coat of that furniture. This is more, it's literally if you put white paint with water, that's what it looks like, except it smells like death. Yes, it smells like death.
Not according to a few TikTok comments.
I know. They were like, I don't think it smells bad.
And then the person was like, I don't think it smells bad. I make my own, and it's out of dead bugs. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
To each
All
their
right.
own.
Yeah, oogity. That's the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, and sometimes it's varnish, which is a little different than a shellac finish. And you'll see that, when you see, old wood trim get really dark and start, alligator skinning.
Yeah.
That's
crackling.
a varnish, so.
Yeah. All of those are basically finish coats on wood that are clear.
Yeah.
I have seen people, if you do get a white ring or something, apparently if you put a towel on it and use an iron or something, it takes the ring out. But I would look it up. Don't just go at your table with an iron, please.
All right. So our next one is also from TikTok. The handle is New Discovery. And this person watched my TikTok video where I was sanding a little bit of rust off my small putty knife, and I had taken a sanding disc from a power sander and just folded it in half. So they're like, "Why are you doing that? Just put it on the sander and use it like it's supposed to be used." So I will say, okay, I bought the sandpaper, so I'll use it however I want.
And if you see my response video, I was like, "This is why we didn't use it in a video, because it goes."
What it is important to note is that the reason I was using sanding by hand is it was a small amount of rust on a small putty knife. Like, it's a bit of overkill to use a power sander. But I'm glad that they mentioned that, because we do often use our power sanders when we have larger items that are rusty and need to be sanded down, or when we have been using our metal putty knives with Bondo, which it's very difficult to like scrape it completely off, and then it will dry and it's hard. And
Bondo's an epoxy-based wood filler, by the way.
Yeah, like a 2-part wood filler. When you get that on there, the only way to get your putty knife back down to metal is to use a power sander. I mean, you could use a hand sander, but it's like also, a lot of work.
As a child of a man who frequents estate sales and garage sales, you can get sanding paper at an estate sale or whatever, and you don't have a sander. It works exactly the same as like sandpaper in like the sheets.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense not to, but it's more expensive, so it makes sense not to like use all your power sander discs for hand sanding. But
so in New Discovery, we say touche.
All right, so this one, Emily, is for you. You gave the person an answer, but I liked it so much I thought others would really like to hear it. So occasionally, builders, plumbers, homeowners will do something that I am always confused by, which is put the shutoff valves inside the wall and then drywall over it. Which means
because there will never be a problem with the plumbing ever again.
A Hulk punch a hole in the wall in order to get to your shutoff valves. And that's actually what happened to this listener, is that they had to cut or hammer a hole in their drywall to get to their shutoff valve. So they're like, now what? And the question was about primer, was about putting it back together. But Emily had a different suggestion completely. So if you have shutoff valves inside your wall, Emily, what would be a great alternative?
Well, they were asking if they should, like, it was a thing about Arlie talked about in an episode to prime patches so they don't do a thing called flashing, which is just where the sheen looks different from the rest of the wall. So even though you've done a beautiful, wonderful job patching, you can still see the dang patch, which is frustrating. So this person was saying, should I prime this patch? This works really well. And I said yes, and a bonding primer, just because that's my favorite type of primer. It supposedly bonds to glass. I haven't tried that, but it works really well. But I also said, here is an access panel. So they make them for like $20, I think. I think Oatly is the brand we usually use, and it's literally just, this one is a 14 by 14. You cut a hole in your drywall, you stick the frame in, and then you stick the access panel in, and it could just be pried off. But they're paintable and wallpaperable. So
we used those last time I was doing like a bathroom repair. And those, if you have to go, I wouldn't always just go straight in if you have no problems. But if you have to go into your wall to get into shutoff valves, instead of drywalling back over it, put a access panel in it, or, I mean, heck, put a painting over it and leave it open.
Especially if you are DIYing with plumbing and you are not an experienced plumber. Experienced plumbers still experience leaks, I know. But
us DIYers, like us 6 years ago.
We are open-minded, but know that we may make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, when it comes to your shower, you can't turn that off, unless you turn off your main, unless you have access to your shutoff valves. So there's a lot of different uses for it. Plus, if you have a problem and then you get it re-drywalled, and then you have another problem, then you're going to have to get it torn out, the plumbing done, and re-drywalled again. Yeah. Just put in an access panel if you come to it, $20 or so, depending on what it is.
You used to have to build them out of wood, but now you can just buy one and pop it in the hole.
And the one we talked about is, honestly, it's pretty cheap. Like I maybe would put it like in an area you can't notice very much, but they do make attractive ones.
Yeah,
yeah, they
too.
do.
They're
You
just
can make your
quite
own.
expensive. Like the attractive ones I was seeing that like are like flush paneled and they like look really beautiful. Those were like $100-something. But I mean, if it's going to be out and about, then maybe that's what you want. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, last question for today. This one's from Anna. And she said,
Anna.
Hello, Anna. I have a piece of flooring where the subfloor is missing. It's about 4 by 6 feet area. What do I do with it? And are there any ideas what to do with the area if I can't find hardwood floor planks to match when I put it back together?
So the subfloor is missing or the floor is missing?
Sounds like both. So once the subfloor goes in and the flooring goes back in, what does she do about matching if she can't find the same planks?
That's interesting. You know, I've seen people take tile edging. If you cut like a very straight line around that area, you can put in, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on where it is. If it's in some random corner, it might be kind of awkward, but you can put tile edging in and match it as close as you can. But it basically looks like a
cutout.
A cutout.
Like a decorative area.
Yeah. So you could try to do something like that. Or you can cut more of the flooring away and have like that half of the room, or, I mean...
make it look purposeful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, doing the whole room or something, if you have a big living room, that's kind of a big commitment to do that.
A lot of older houses have the hardware floor extends into the closets. So that's a great place to mine extra planks that will not only be the same wood, but will be the same age.
And the same color.
And
that's
the same color.
Great tip.
Yeah, so you can, that happens all the time. We did it in a house that we worked on about 5 years ago. We pulled the wood out of the closet and used it to patch in the areas in the main area. And then you just put different flooring in the closet.
Yeah,
so,
and then you have a natural transition point, though,
yes,
too,
at
right
the
at the
closet
doorway.
Door. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have multiple closets and you have a 4 by 6 area, you could probably get away with doing that.
Yeah.
Also, I think they're asking about the subfloor as well. And if there isn't, so for a subfloor, to place your subfloor, you need to think about it like you need to have something on every edge of the subfloor. So if the area that is missing right now, there isn't a joist on either side to screw new subfloor into, you can just add blocking, or you can cut back till you get to another joist.
And if you have, if it's on the main floor and your basement has an open ceiling, then you can go, like if your current floor joists are 2x8s, then you can sister additional 2x8s right next to your floor joist, and that just gives you that extra 1.5 inches to put the edge of the subfloor on.
Sistering's just
putting them side by side, just same together. Yeah.
And I would look for structural screws if you're going to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Also think about if your floors are hardwood, the subfloor underneath it might also be like hardwood planks that run diagonally.
Yep.
And sometimes those are 3/4 of an inch, but sometimes they're an inch. And usually nowadays we use OSB for subfloor, which you can get, but you might need to put either 2 pieces of 1/2 inch subfloor or a piece of 3/4 inch subfloor with
1/4 inch luan on top.
Yeah, 1/4 inch. So measure that gap of the flooring together and make sure that it's gonna, because you'd probably be pretty upset if you get to that and your floor is like a 1/4 inch underneath or right above your other flooring.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this side quest. Thank you for joining us. And if you are interested in us being your handymams, you can find us at myhandyma'am.com and myhandymam on all the socials. If you want to be your own handymam, then you can find us at howtohandymaam pretty much everywhere.
And if you want to email us questions, you can do hthm@myhandyma'am.com and you'll go right to our inbox.
Yeah.
And you can join our Facebook group, How to Handyma'am.
We got lots going on. Yeah. There's plenty for everybody.
Yes. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you Friday for the full episode.
Yes.
Thanks.
See you Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.